Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Of or relating to the philosophical doctrine of the reality of ideas. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Conforming to an ultimate standard of perfection or excellence, embodying an ideal. Constituting or existing only in the form of an idea or mental image or conception. A poem or essay may be typical of its period in idea or ideal content. The idea of something that is perfect, something that one hopes to attain. Of or relating to the philosophical doctrine of the reality of ideas. Of high moral or intellectual value, elevated in nature or style. The elevation of a person, as to the status of a god. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Eminent beyond or above comparison. The team's nonpareil center fielder. A flat disk of chocolate covered with beads of colored sugar. Colored beads of sugar used as a topping on e.g. candies and cookies. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. An ideal instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Declare, a dead person, to be a saint. Person of exceptional holiness. Model of excellence or perfection of a kind, one having no equal. Hold sacred. A person who has died and has been declared a saint by canonization. Without qualification, used informally as, often pejorative, intensifiers. A perfect idiot. Make perfect or complete. Perfect your French in Paris. A tense of verbs used in describing action that has been completed, sometimes regarded as perfective aspect. Being complete of its kind and without defect or blemish. A perfect circle. Precisely accurate or exact. Perfect timing. Not representing or imitating external reality or the objects of nature. A large abstract painting. A sketchy summary of the main points of an argument or theory. Make off with belongings of others. A concept or idea not associated with any specific instance. He loved her only in the abstract, not in person. Consider a concept without thinking of a specific example. Consider abstractly or theoretically. Consider apart from a particular case or instance. Let's abstract away from this particular example. Dealing with a subject in the abstract without practical purpose or intention. Abstract reasoning. Existing only in the mind, separated from embodiment. Abstract words like truth and justice. Give an abstract of. Elevated ideals or conduct. The quality of believing that ideals should be pursued. Impracticality by virtue of thinking of things in their ideal form rather than as they really are. Philosophy, the philosophical theory that ideas are the only reality. Someone worthy of imitation. Every child needs a role model. A person who poses for a photographer or painter or sculptor. The president didn't have time to be a model, so the artist worked from photos. Construct a model of. Model an airplane. A representative form or pattern. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. The computer program was based on a model of the circulatory and respiratory systems. Worthy of imitation. Model citizens. Representation of something, sometimes on a smaller scale. A woman who wears clothes to display fashions. Something to be imitated. A model of clarity. Someone worthy of imitation. Every child needs a role model. The act of representing something, usually on a smaller scale. Create a representation or model of. Form in clay, wax, etc. Model a head with clay. Assume a posture as for artistic purposes. Plan or create according to a model or models. A type of product. His car was an old model. Display, clothes, as a mannequin. Model the latest fashion. A personal belief or judgment that is not founded on proof or certainty. What are your thoughts on Haiti? The content of cognition. The main thing you are thinking about. The thought never entered my mind. The process of using your mind to consider something carefully. She paused for thought. The organized beliefs of a period or group or individual. 19th century thought. Music, melodic subject of a musical composition. The accompanist picked up the idea and elaborated it. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A rough idea how long it would take. The content of cognition. The main thing you are thinking about. It was not a good idea. Your intention. What you intend to do. The idea of the game is to capture all the pieces. A personal view. He has an idea that we don't like him. Someone excellent of their kind. He's a Jim Dandy of a soldier. Something excellent of its kind. The bike was a Jim Dandy. Someone who shows impressive and stylish excellence. Someone excellent of their kind. Something excellent of its kind. Someone of remarkable excellence. A humdinger of a secretary. Someone excellent of their kind. Something excellent of its kind. An ideal instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept. A basis for comparison, a reference point against which other things can be evaluated. The ideal in terms of which something can be judged. Something to be imitated. An exemplar of success. An ideal instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept. The state of being without a flaw or defect. The act of making something perfect. A representative form or pattern. I profited from his example. Something to be imitated. An occurrence of something. But there is always the famous example of the Smiths. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. This patient provides a typical example of the syndrome. Punishment intended as a warning to others. They decided to make an example of him. A task performed or problem solved in order to develop skill or understanding. You must work the examples at the end of each chapter in the textbook. A basis for comparison. A reference point against which other things can be evaluated. The schools comply with federal standards. Any distinctive flag. Conforming to the established language usage of educated native speakers. Standard English. The ideal in terms of which something can be judged. They live by the standards of their community. The value behind the money in a monetary system. Regularly and widely used or sold. A standard size. A board measure equals 1980 board feet. An upright pole or beam, especially one used as a support. Distance was marked by standards every mile. Commonly used or supplied. Standard procedure. Conforming to or constituting a standard of measurement or value, or of the usual or regularized or accepted kind. Windows of standard width. Established or well-known or widely recognized as a model of authority or excellence. A standard reference work. Regard highly. Think much of. Music. The relative duration of a musical note. Hold dear. Estimate the value of. The amount, of money or goods or services, that is considered to be a fair equivalent for something else. He tried to estimate the value of the produce at normal prices. Evaluate or estimate the nature, quality, ability, extent, or significance of. An ideal accepted by some individual or group. He has old-fashioned values. A numerical quantity measured or assigned or computed. The value assigned was 16 milliseconds. Fix or determine the value of. Assign a value to. Value the jewelry and artwork in the estate. Relative darkness or lightness of a color. I establish the colors and principal values by organizing the painting into 3 values, dark, medium and light. The quality, positive or negative, that renders something desirable or valuable. The Shakespearean Shylock is of dubious value in the modern world. Something to be imitated. Psychoanalysis. The part of the ego that contains an ideal of personal excellence toward which a person strives. An ideal instance, a perfect embodiment of a concept. A material effigy that is worshipped. Someone who is adored blindly and excessively.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.